Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Ewing and this is the Hang On to the Dream Spotlight. And this is just where we let you guys know about some amazing people who are doing some amazing things. And in today's Spotlight is a young woman from Chicago who shows us that anything is possible as long as you believe. Check this out.
From the beginning, pretty much when I was born, I always loved horses. So when I was 3 years old, my mom had ponies come to my house for my birthday, and I was always a super nice kid, you know, always shared my toys and everything. And I got on the pony and would not let anybody else touch that pony because it was my pony for the day. And they brought two, thankfully, but I was on that pony for the entire day until they had to leave. And then I started taking lessons actually here when I was 5 years old. And they were like, oh, well, we don't take people until they're 6, you know, like kids, just because you're more mature at 6, so you listen a little bit better. But they said they were going to take me and try and see if I was good. And I worked out really well, and that's how it kind of started for me. And I just been doing it ever since. June 8th, 2016, I was riding a new horse on the property. He was only ridden a couple times, and we were riding outside and totally fine, like they've been turned out there, so he was used to it and stuff. But a motorcycle went by and revved its engine and spooked him, and he started bucking, and I just lost my balance and I fell. And I guess I just landed weird that time because I broke my T5, T6, and it compressed my spinal cord. So technically right now I'm paralyzed from like my stomach down. I was awake the whole time, which I think was good for me because I knew exactly what happened, where I was the entire time. I can tell you word for word and step for step exactly what happened to me and where I went and what I did up until my like surgery point. So I can literally pinpoint the exact spot in the arena that he started bucking, the exact spot I fell off and laid and sat back up, you know, and yeah. So as soon as I could honestly get back on, I did. I got back on 4 months after my surgery, which I technically wasn't supposed to, but I didn't know it at the time. It was kind of a crazy experience at first because I didn't really know how my body was going to react to it. They put me on one of the slower horses that we have here, one of our babysitters, and I made it one lap around the arena and I almost passed out because I had blood pressure issues. I didn't know it, but I was like, oh yeah, I didn't want to get off, so I didn't tell them anything, but I was starting to kind of like see spots and like not really be able to hear that well. So I was like, I think I need to get off now. And then I went pale and they just like pulled me off and set me in my chair and I drank some water and I was fine. Never passed out. But I just wanted to stay on and keep going. So, yeah.
Wow, I have a lot to say about Taylor. She's a miracle. She's been a blessing in my life. She was my firstborn. And she became a second mom after I got divorced, and she's just been incredible. And I never thought in a million years that anything like this would ever happen to any of our kids. We just don't, right? I had 4 healthy children, and just in the blink of an eye, one night, our whole lives changed just like that. But I knew that night, I felt the power. Like when she spoke the words, I'm gonna be okay. And she had a smile on her face right after she broke her back. She said to me, Mom, I'm gonna ride again and I'm gonna walk again. I knew that day that our whole world had just shifted, but I knew it was time for me to end my career and stay home and help advocate and be there for her and help her achieve those goals.
Yeah, so this is May. She is 20 years old. I've had her for 11 years now, and I bought her when I was 10, and, you know, just did a lot of training, a lot of work with her, and we actually, they brought her to the hospital for me when I was still in the inpatient unit for, like, I was still in pediatrics even though I was 16. So they told me that if I wanted to see her, I had to get in the chair and stay in the chair for an hour. And I was having some struggles before with it just because of blood pressure issues, and I didn't feel good. My back obviously hurt pretty bad. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll do it, whatever, but I needed that goal. I needed something to push me to keep going. And so they came in and said, if you want to see her and you want her to come here, you have to be up in this chair for an hour and somebody has to be moving you for an hour. And so that night or that day, whatever, I got right back up and I said, okay, fine, I'm gonna do this. And I stayed up for, I think it was an hour and a half. And they were like, okay, well, your horse can come. And I ended up, that was 2 days later, and I ended up staying up for 2.5 hours to see her and spend time with her. And I was like, I don't want to go back in. She's staying with me. And we thought she was going to be a little bit special about it because obviously she hasn't seen a wheelchair before, especially one that's big in the hospital because they had the reclining chair. So if I did have blood pressure issues, I could go back. So they brought me outside and she walked right up to me and just put her head right in my lap. And I was like, oh, you're one in a million. She changed from there on out. She changed into the horse that I needed to be. And everybody said, you take care of her when she's hurt. And now that you're hurt, she's going to take care of you 100%, no matter how long it takes. And she really has. She's done everything I needed. And it's actually funny watching other people ride her because she can act so stubborn with other people. And then I can get on 5 minutes later, she puts her head to the ground and walks like a babysitter. Will do whatever I need. And she feels my days that I'm stronger, she will be very sassy and she will challenge me and she'll push me to my limit. And days that she feels like I'm tired and I can't do as much, super calm, super quiet, and just rubs on me like this. Yeah, so that's her. She's special.
I remember being in inpatient therapy when she was telling the therapist that she wanted to ride again, and he just looked at her. I mean, the doctors, there's so many people that said that she couldn't do it, she shouldn't do it, and it was just all these roadblocks in front of her all the time. And I just pictured Taylor as one of those racehorses that were behind the gate, just ready to go. And she was just being stopped by these gates. But I knew once we opened those gates for her that everything was going to change. We just had to trust and believe and let her do her thing. And she did, because immediately after she got out of inpatient therapy, she started her therapy again with beginning to ride her horse again.
Inspired so far by the riders we've had here today, like I have been, you're definitely going to be inspired now, because this rider, number 151, Taylor D, is paralyzed from the waist down, and she's out here doing her thing.
Come on, team!
Woo!
Look around, you got it, T, you got it. Good job, T. Jiffy's not breathing. Good job, T!
All right, now that's how it's done, folks. All right, good job, Taylor, good job.
To everybody watching, I say just go for your dreams and keep going no matter what. Even presented in a situation where it's a little bit harder to do things, you can always find a way to make it better and work hard on your goals. You have to look at life after an accident as a wonderful experience that you're still here. So even though something bad happened to you, you still have the opportunity to either you can choose to quit and give up and just sit, or you can choose to keep going and kind of figure out different ways to do things. Yes, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to figure out at first. but once you figure those things out, you start to not notice those challenging things anymore. They just become normal in your life, which is a big thing. And it did take me a little while to kind of figure out how I wanted to do things, how I wanted to put my saddle on, how I wanted to groom my horse, how I even wanted to just get out of bed as well. And it takes a little bit of time. And it kind of can be a mental toll if you let it, but honestly, I never thought about it before, but positive mindset is going to be your number one thing. You don't have to think about that when you don't have an accident or when something is taken away from you that you don't realize is a thing in your life that you take for granted. It puts you in perspective and you say, okay, well, I can't do this way now, but how am I going to make it better? Because I am still living and I need to keep living. So just kind of try to have as positive as a mindset as you can, because no matter what, you're still here, you're still living, so that's still an amazing thing, and you're still gonna beat the odds because you're here, so just keep going. Hang on to the dream.